Hi, I'm Nika. Today I'm going to talk about a book that I recently read titled Through the Language Glass. A key point made in this book was that language changes the way we see things through forcing us to focus on a particular aspect of the world. To illustrate this point, the book talked about a language called Guugu Yimithirr spoken by Aboriginal Australian people. In this language, the words left and right are never used. Instead, people refer to directions in terms of cardinal directions such as north and east. So when you're facing north, they might say, "Pass me the book in the bookshelf to the west of you," instead of saying, "Pass me the book in the bookshelf on your left." Speaking in this manner forces Guugu Yimithirr speakers to always have a compass in their mind and think in terms of cardinal directions. It has been found that the people in the tribe have excellent sense of direction and know accurately which way is north, no matter where they are and what the visibility conditions are like. And they seem to remember everything in terms of cardinal directions because they say things like, "I jumped off from the east side of the boat." The book featured an interesting experiment about how the way directions are described in a language affects the speaker's thoughts. In this experiment, the participants were first shown an arrangement of two figures on one table and were asked to memorize it. Let's say the participant was facing north at this point. On the table, object B is placed immediately to the left or the west of object A. Then they were taken to another room to see another table with another two figures on it and memorize the arrangement. When they are looking at the second table, in terms of cardinal directions, they are facing in the opposite direction from when they were facing the first table. So now the participant will be facing south. On the second table, object C is on the far left or east of object A. Finally, they were taken back to the first room to deduce where object C should be placed in respect to object B. For us English speakers, the intuitive choice would be to place object C on the left of object B because we perceive object B to be on the left of object A and object C to be farther on the left, so that the figures would be ordered C, B, A from left to right. But for Guugu Yimithirr speakers, object B is placed to the east of object A and object C is placed to the far east of object A, so they would perceive the figures to be ordered B, A, C from west to east. So they would put object C to the east of object B, which is to say to the right of object B. It seems like there are only 3 areas where researchers have proven that language affects our perception of the world: cardinal directions versus left and right, what colors have names, and whether or not the nouns have gender. When comparing English and Japanese, people often point out that English requires the speaker to state the subject explicitly in order to form a complete sentence, while Japanese does not necessarily require an explicit subject. And I think this might cause English speakers to have a tendency to focus on who did it or what did it compared to people who speak Japanese. Would whether a language requires an explicit subject influence the speaker's thoughts? And if so, how? I'm very curious. However, I imagine it would be challenging to design an experiment that could prove the existence of such an influence.